Students, welcome to my Rise of Tutor channel. Now I am taking 10th standard English subjects 2.3, connecting the dots. Students, this is written by Steve Jobs. Means in this lesson, speech given by him to graduate students, and he talks about his college experiences, how he had getting fired from Apple, this famous computer company, then his loves and his brush with death. You can watch his speech on YouTube channel. He was an American entrepreneur, business magnate, inventor, and industrial designer. He was the chairman, chief executive officer, and co-founder of Apple. He is widely recognized as one of the pioneers of microcomputer revolution of the 1970s and 1980s. स्टुडंट्स, कोणत्याही गोष्टीला अचीव करायचं असेल तर पहिलं बऱ्याचशा स्टेप्स अशा असतात की खडतर प्रवास असतो तो पार करून पुढे जावं लागतं. जेव्हा स्टीव जॉब्स हे चेअरमन किंवा चीफ एक्झिक्युटिव्ह ऑफिसर किंवा को फाउंडर झाले ॲपलचे, त्याच्या आधीचा त्यांचा प्रवास किंवा त्यांना ॲपलवाल्यांच्याकडून फायर्ड कसं केलं गेलं, तर ह्या ज्या काही त्यांचे एक्सपिरियन्स आहेत किंवा ज्या काही गोष्टी आहेत ते सर्व यातून आपल्याला शेअर केलेलं दिसून येतं. Now students, I want to ask to you that do you know a list of famous computer companies? You must quite familiar with computers, right? Almost all students knew that they're having Apple, Samsung, then HP in Foxconn, IBM, Lenovo, etc. Okay, what are the benefits of computer? Benefits of computer means that connects to the internet, right? Then it gives lots of knowledge and information of education or entertainment, everything. Then we can get lots of or huge data or information. Means they are having lots of store in it. And then for industrial work, for productivity, for profession efficiency, it is very helpful. Okay, so many uses of it. Now we start here what is in our lesson. Now what he is saying quickly, I am teaching now to you. Listen carefully. What is in? Today I want to tell you 3 stories from my life. That's it. Just 3 stories. The first story is about connecting the dots. What here writer says to connecting the dots means discontinued. Connecting the dots means he has given some illustration. Actual he had ability or not. Means suppose if you have an ability to associate one idea with other, it's called connecting the dots. काही सायलेंट फीचर्स असतात, मग ते मास डेटाच्या संदर्भात असेल, कुठल्याही गोष्टीची असेल, तर ती ॲबिलिटी जी असते ती एकातून दुसऱ्याशी अवलंबून अशी असते. काही तर ती ॲबिलिटी आपल्याला यातून दिसून येते. तर याकरता हिने कनेक्टिंग द डॉट्स हा मिनिंग घेतलेला दिसून येतो. तर काय ती स्टोरी सांगतात, लिसन नाव केअरफुली. द फर्स्ट स्टोरी इज अबाउट कनेक्टिंग द डॉट्स. I dropped out of Reed College after the first 6 months. Here one, he was visited on that Reed College after the first 6 months and then stayed around as a drop-in uh, for another 18 months before I really quit. See, after joining Reed College for 2 years, Steve would stop taking the required classes that didn't interest him. Okay, really quick looking back, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. I could stop taking the required classes that don't interest me and begin dropping in on the ones that look interesting. Understand? Means when he joined Reed College for 2 years, Steve would stop taking the required classes and that didn't interest him. Instead, he began dropping in the one that looked interesting. Then I didn't have a dorm room. Dorm room means short form of dormitory, large bedroom for a number of people in school or university or institution. It is called dormitory. I didn't have dorm room, so I slept on the floor in friend's room. I returned Coke bottles for the 5 cent deposits to buy food with, and I would walk 7 miles across town every Sunday night to get one good meal a week at the Hare Krishna temple. Cent means a coin worth 100 hmm, of the US dollars. I loved it, and much of what I stumbled into by following my curiosity and intuition turned out to be priceless later on. Here's one example. Reed College offered perhaps the best calligraphy instruction in the country because I had to take a calligraphy class. I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces, about what makes street typography great. Serif and sans serif means it is slight projection or at the extremities of printed letter, as in typeface series. It is called serif typeface. Typeface means without serif. Typeface a set of characters, letters, marks, symbols, etc. in one design. It is called typeface. And typography means style and appearance of printed matter. It is called uh, typography. So even if he was not a member of the club often means whenever he uh, often play tennis there as draft in, then he decided to drop out another things we have to see in next para. There were just I told you before, Steve didn't have a room and so had to sleep on the floor in friend's room. Okay, Steve returned Coke bottles for the 5 cent deposits to buy food with. कोक बॉटल ज्या होत्या ते द्यायचं आणि त्याचे 5 सेंट त्याला भेटायचे, त्यातून ते खरेदी करायचं जे अन्न आहे ते. Steve would walk 7 miles across town every Sunday night to get one good meal a week at the Hare Krishna temple. He did so many hard work. Okay, within it we can understand. It's called that independent, right? Then is the next para. 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me and we designed it all into the Mac. If I had never dropped in on the course in college, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces or, for that matter, even proportionally spaced fonts. See what here said by him. After 10 years, after 10 years later, uh, when they started, within it, Steve Jobs were there for designing first time Macintosh computer, and he told to us that if he had not dropped his uh, college, then means we never had means we had never see or never had see the multiple typefaces on Macintosh computer. Okay, so set of characters we can see now in computer. Um, so he said to us, and since Windows just copied Mac, it is likely no personal computer would have them. Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots. Looking forward, when I was in college, but it was very clear looking backwards 10 years later. Okay, means what he wants to tell to us, actual uh, job dropped out of Reed College, right? Then job stayed as a drop-in for 18 months, uh, and then he used to sleep on the floor in his friend's house. Job learned about serif and serif type faces. Then he was in member of this um, Macintosh computer, who was participated designing all the parts about it. Then Steve Jobs actual he had lots of thirst for knowledge, but prefer subjects that he finds interesting and avoids those he finds uninteresting, even though he has enrolled for him. He is ready to find means every time to do hard work, to study. Then he had lots of curiosity also. So really his habits was very great, uh, which was which makes something really great, the habit of storing it away in his mind for future use. Then after 10 years, when Steve Jobs was designing the first Macintosh computer, he recalled what he had learned in calligraphy classes about serif and then serif typefaces as well as typography. He designed all this into the Macintosh computer. Uh, then the Mac computer which he designed would not have had multiple typefaces or space fonts proportionally. Uh, means just next para we have to see now where we are. You can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your guts means courage, destiny, life, karma, whatever. This approach has never let me down, and it has made all the differences in my life. Okay, म्हणजे he tried to forget his all terrible experiences in his life, and he always tried to made a o to always follow or always look forward. Then next story what he wants to tell to us. My second story in my second story is about love and loss. I found that I love to do early in life. Oats, stew was unique, and I started Apple when I was 20. In 10 years, Apple had grown from just the two of us in a garage into a $2 billion company. And then I got fired. It was devastating. What here says by our Mac, our writer, for the for his experience, what he says, uh, he means he overcame the shock of being fired from Apple company. Apple, okay, means uh, first he felt free to enter one of uh, one of a good uh, period of his life. He started then he when Jobs was 30, he was fired from the company which he himself has started, and uh, then what this was devastating and major setback in his life. mm, Second story of Jobs about love and loss means we can get the theme actual. We should continue believing in ourselves. It is that we should love our work. Okay, we should love our work. Then after that, when uh, his job was not secure, then what happened? uh, I got fired means lost the job. It was devastating, but something slowly began to dawn on me. I still loved what I did, and so I decided to start over. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. Means it inspires him never to be disheartened by failure. Okay, so he always going on and on, always trying, keep trying, always keep trying. Suppose if someone loses everything, some has to have the courage to start all over again. Okay, same way here he had got the courage. But something slowly began to dawn on me. I still loved what I did, and so I decided to start over. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. During the next 5 years, I started a company next, another company named Pixar. Means he felt free to enter one of the most creative period of his life. So he started companies into it. Next and Pixar, these two companies he started a company next, another company named Pixar, and fell in love with an amazing woman who had become his wife. Pixar is now the world's most successful animation studio. Apple, what next? Okay, Pixar now most successful animation studio. I returned to Apple, and the technology we developed at Next is at the heart of Apple's current renaissance. And mm, and Lauren and I have a wonderful family together. Renaissance means revival or rebirth. Again, he returned to Apple, and then technology he developed at Next is the heart of Apple's current revival. Or then his wonderful family means Lauren and they both have a wonderful family together, lived a long life. Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. Hits you in the head with a brick म्हणजे गिव्ह अ ग्रेट शॉक. काही वेळेला असं होतं की लाईफमध्ये बरेचसे ग्रेट शॉक बसत असतात. Don't lose faith. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it again, keep looking. Don't settle. Okay, means uh, we must believe ourselves, even if hurdle came in our path, hurdle came in our life, in our work. Always be positive. We must decide, come out or overcome all the problems. Even if one loses some everything, one has to have the courage to start all over again. Okay, so during the 5 years, I started a company next after. Okay, next para. Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. Okay. Then third story start by him. What he wants to tell you. In second story, what here Stephen Jobs wants to tell to us about love and loss means conveys that he by him that efforts our efforts result in complete disaster, we should continue believing in ourselves. Don't lose. We should love our work. We should keep our work. We should keep on searching, or we should never accept less than we aim for in life. Okay, third story, what he wants to tell to us. My third story is about death. About a year ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. Then, uh, Jobs was diagnosed with a very rare form, uh, pancreatic cancer. It was curable by surgery. Jobs had the surgery and he was cured actually. Listen, Baba. About a years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. My doctor advised me to go home and get my affairs in order, which is doctor's code for prepare to die. I lived with the diagnosis all day. Later that evening, I had a biopsy. Biopsy means the process of removing and examine a small amount of tissue from sick person. Means discover more about his illness. Okay. Then it turned out to be very rare from a pancreatic cancer that is curable with surgery. I had the surgery and I am fine now. Okay, means it was curable by surgery and Jobs had the surgery and he was cured. This was the closest I have been to facing death. आणि हा सगळ्यात त्यांनी डेथला सामोरे गेलेला, म्हणजे जवळजवळ मृत्यूच्या तोंडाशी आलेले होते असं त्याला म्हणायचं, ते मी फेस केलं ते. And I hope it's the closest I get for a new more decades. Having lived through it, I can now say this to you. Your time is limited. So don't waste it living someone else's life. So what he wants to tell to us, our life is so limited. So we should have to take chance about it and do something for our life. Do give better in our life and don't waste or don't uh, think or don't waste our time with others. Waste time. Don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Dogma means set of beliefs held by a group. Okay, means suppose or its other meaning, an organization which others are expected to accept without argument. Belief, dogma. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the result of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinion drown out your own inner voice. Okay, to make something impossible to hear by submerging it with louder noise means don't think about others' opinion, what they want to say to us, but you should have to take the chance about it and then think about it and do as your same way, as like as your same method. So that way should follow there. Then and most important, have the courage to follow your heart and initiation means you must have courage and initiation. uh, by it you can improve our life and change our life. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Then what he wants to tell to us, next last para. When I was young, there was an amazing publication called the Whole Earth Catalog. In the final issue, on the back cover, they put a photography of an early morning country road. Beneath it were the words, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." It was their farewell message as they signed off. I have always wished that for myself, and now, as you graduate to begin anew, I wish that for you. Stay hungry, stay foolish, which is written here. Steve Jobs. Here is a list of 20 amazing life lessons all learned from Steve Jobs. Now, when Jobs was young, he used to read an amazing publications called the Whole Earth Catalog. In the final issue was photograph of an early morning country road beneath which were words "Say hungry, stay hungry, stay foolish." Stu required these words from the magazine. So, Jobs wants us not to be trapped by dogma. Dogma is living with result of others people thinking. He addresses to graduate students by telling them that telling about an amazing publication called the Whole Earth Catalog, and Job wishes the students the same words as his farewell message to them. Okay, these are all conclusions that came to Steve Jobs came to when he discovered that he was suffering from cancer. Coming face to face with death, he realized how very little time we have on earth to realize that true potential. Most of our lives are spent following the dictates of others. By these statements, he says that, or its meaning that we should spend every moment of our lives trying to discover our own potential and determine our own path, own life, own purpose. Okay, so it's very good message given by our Steve Jobs. In the end, he tells to graduate students that his farewell message to them. Um, it were the words, which words? Stay hungry, stay foolish. Thank you, students. I can all students here understood what I said. Now don't forget to see my next video, and those who are till now not subscribed on my channel, please I request to you subscribe and see my next new coming videos. Don't forget. Thank you.